And I also told you to study the first chapter. Anyone has done that? What are kleshas? Karishma?
Yeah, Smita.
Yes, Sandeep, you have raised your hand.
Hello.
The avidya, ashmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh, panchklesha.
Yes. Yes, Karishma. What is the cause of kleshas?
Avidya.
Okay. And what is abhinivesh?
Clinging to life. Fear of death.
Yes, fear of death. Swarnlata. What is karmasya?
What, Didi?
What is karmasya? What is karmasya? What is the concept of karmasya and karma vipak? Yes, Sandeep.
Didi karmasya, we can say like it's the storage of our karmas which have done in previous life or like now, and
Yes.
that their fruit will be coming to the present or in the future.
Yes, right. So, what is karma vipak?
Didi,
What is
fruits.
karma vipak? Yeah, yes. Who is
Fruit.
this?
Sakshi Didi from your account only.
Yeah, yeah, tell me. Yes, Sakshi.
Didi, what is your question?
What is karma vipak?
Like Vipak is fruits, huh?
Yes.
And karma is actions, and that is fruit.
Yes. So, what is the concept
Like
Patanjali
Ishvara,
mentioned about karma vipak?
according to they give the definition of Ishvara like Klesh Karma Pakashya Paramrishta Purush Vishesh Ishvara. Huh?
Yeah, that is different. That is for Ishvara, but he has also explained about karma vipak. That if we are doing karmas or if there is cause, so it will bear fruit. As in rebirth or life can be short or long. So this will be result of our karmas, right? So that is karma vipak. Vipak means fruit. Vipak means result, outcome. Outcome
No,
of
madam,
our.
karma means action, no?
Yes, karma is action and
Okay.
vipaka means
Yeah.
outcome or fruit or result of our actions. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
जैसे
Ma'am,
same.
ma'am, it's like
Yeah.
the maturation of the karma, ripening of karma.
Yes, you can say, but like we say, no, vipak means after taste. In food,
Okay, okay.
what we say vipak after taste. So karma vipak after karma. So after karma, what comes? Fruit.
Yeah, fruit.
Yeah.
Then means we are taking that result.
Yes. So
Okay.
result of karma, fruit of karma, outcome of karma. So if there is cause, if there is action, that it will be a fruit, surely, right? It will be
Okay.
it can be as rebirth. Obviously it will be rebirth, and in birth it our life can be short or long. The we can experience pain and pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Didi.
And experience of pleasure and pain are fruits of merit and demerits. Like if we are doing something good, so we'll get pleasure, and if we are doing something bad, so we'll get pain, right? What is Chaturvyuvad? Who knows the answer? Raise your hand. Chaturvyuvad. Okay, Sandeep knows. Anyone else? Only he has studied.
Is this Heya Hetu He Upaya? That one?
What? Yes, Karishma, I'm not able to listen you.
Didi,
Can you be
Didi,
loud?
repeat the question once.
Is it
What
Heya
is Chat?
Hetu Heya Upaya? That four thing?
Yeah, my question is, what is Chaturvyuvad? Yes, Karishma, you are telling right.
Yeah. Heya
Yes.
Hetu Heya Upaya and Heno. Sorry, Henupai and something Hetu. I forgot the fourth one.
No. Here is right, but other three is not completely right. Anyone else? Prashant, you were not there yesterday.
I joined late one actually yesterday. Sorry,
Okay, so
I got some internet problem, so I joined late one yesterday. Sorry.
it's okay. Did you go through the slides or recordings?
No, madam. No, madam. Actually, I am studying different one. Tomorrow I have exams, madam.
Okay,
So I'm studying different chapters. Okay, not yoga related, other related, madam. Sorry for that one.
okay, it's okay. So, Deki, do you know the answer? What is
No, ma'am.
Chaturvyuhad?
No, ma'am. I was
Rani,
absent yesterday.
you were absent, but you could go through the classes, no? You could go through the recordings.
Actually,
Okay,
recording is
Didi.
not coming in my phone.
Ancient religious philosophy.
Chaturvyuvad.
That
What comes under
Chaturvyuha,
Chaturvyuvad? What comes under that?
some emanations of the philosophy which is very
Karishma
ancient
was
and
telling, and she was somewhat right, but not completely.
Heya Hetu Henupai.
Yes.
Uh,
Heya. Second one is
sorry,
Heya
sorry.
Hetu.
Heya Hetu Hana and Hanopaya. I think.
Hana and Hanopai.
Yes.
So these four comes under Chaturvyuvad. So what is here now?
Here is dukh or pain.
Yes. Okay. Sandeep, yes.
Ma'am Patanjali says Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. That means like the dukh which the things we have done, we will get the dukkha of it, like the present and the past karma. But the future karma which we haven't done, so we can control that particular dukkha from these karmas. So we can just
Not
prevent the
future karma, even present karmas which we are doing, we can do it wisely, right? We can
yes,
think and we can do. So we can prevent the,
future dukkha.
yeah, just wait a minute. Yeah, so here means avoidable pain. So we are doing karmas and we are getting results. We are getting fruits in terms of pleasure and pain. And according to Maharishi Patanjali, if we are getting pleasure also, that is also ultimately pain only. Okay. So how we can avoid the pain, or which is the avoidable pain? So he explained what sutra you have told, Sandeep. Repeat it again.
Heyam
Heyam
dukkam
dukham
anagatam.
anagatam. Yes. So the pain which is yet to come can be avoided or may be avoided, right? The pain which is yet to come, that means the fruit or the result of present karmas which we are doing now in present. So that fruit, for that karma, fruit will come in future. So that pain, fruit means pain here. Okay, so that pain we can avoid by correcting our present karmas. Okay, so heyam dukham anagatam. And next is heya hetu. What does it mean? What is
The
heya?
cause
It
of
gives the
the cause
cause
of
of the
that
pain.
point
The cause
of that unavoidable pain.
cause of?
Cause of that unavoidable pain.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Ashrita?
Yes, Didi, I was also saying it is the cause, and the cause is ignorance, avidya.
Cause is avidya, right? And what is the, actually he explained cause of pain is drishta drish sanyoga here hetu. Okay, so when prakriti and purush meets, it cause pain, it cause dukkha. And what is the cause of sanyog of prakriti and purush? That is avidya. Get it?
Yes, Didi.
Tasya hetur avidya. The first sutra of here hetu is drishta drishya sanyogo here hetu. That means cause of pain is drishta drishya sanyog. And what is the cause of drishta drishya sanyog? That is avidya. Tasya hetur avidya. Then what is hana? Brijesh, can you hear me?
Yes, Didi.
Yes. So what is hana? Please at least answer in yes or no. If you don't know, then say no, okay? But
Okay, Didi.
don't be quiet. So yes, Brijesh, do you
I
know?
don't know. No, Didi.
Okay. Shri Kodis Raja. What is your name?
That only one.
Yeah, so
You spelled correct.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What is Hana?
I don't know.
What is the meaning of Hana?
Hana, ma'am.
Yeah,
Loss, madam. It's loss, no?
what?
Loss.
Not
Freedom from
loss.
dukkha.
Yes. Destroying of
Is it
dukkha.
correct, ma'am?
Yeah, destroying of dukkha or freedom of dukkha. So, it's right. So, what
Okay.
Patanjali said about Hana? What he said. Yes, Sandeep.
Ma'am, he says like when there will be vidya, like the absence of avidya, so the bondage between Purush and Prakriti will disappear. This is known as Hana.
Yes, right. And then what is Hanopai? How this ignorance or how this avidya will be removed? What is the method or what is the mean or what is the way to remove this avidya?
Practice
What
practice
is
of
the upaya?
discrimination.
Practice of what?
Discrimination. Vivek Khyati.
Vivek Khyati. Can you complete the sutra?
Uh,
Vivek
actually,
Khyati.
Geetaka ji,
Yes.
Viplava
avidya means
Hanu.
ignorance, no?
Yes, avidya means ignorance or
Yeah.
false knowledge or
Huh.
yeah. Yes. So what is this sutra Vivek Khyate?
Viplava Hanupaya.
It is Vivek Khyate Aviplava. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So what is the meaning of that?
By practice of discrimination, or like by deciding what is good and what is bad, we can do the destruction of ignorance, which is avidya.
Yes. By awakening the knowledge of Atman, of Purusha, we can destroy the avidya. We can destroy ignorance. And when there will be knowledge of Atman, when there will be true knowledge, when there will be knowledge of truth, ultimate truth, so there will be no trace of illusion. So that state is known as Viveka Khyate. Okay, and Aviplava means when there is no trace of illusion.
It means rebirth, madam.
It is not rebirth,
Huh.
but see, our main goal is to remove this birth and death cycle or this karma cycle, right? To free from this bondage. This is our main aim. So, how we will get free from this bondage? By awakening knowledge of the Atman. If we'll have the true knowledge, so we can get the liberation. This is the
Okay.
concept. So, if
Okay.
we'll have this Vivek Khyate, that means awakening of knowledge of Atman. So it can destroy our avidya. And in that state, there will be no trace of illusion. Did you get it?
Yes, madam. Yes, yes.
What is drashta?
Purusha or Atman.
Yes. And what is drishya?
Prakriti.
And for drashta, what Patanjali said? For Prakriti and Purush, what are the other words he used?
Our concentration is mainly on the material life.
Yes, what? So instead of Prakriti and Purush, Patanjali has used it Drashta and Drishya. Right? Drashta means Purush, Drishya means Prakriti. Drashta means who is experiencing or experiencer, and Drishya means object of experience. And Drashta means Atman. And Prakriti exists only to serve the purpose of Atman. And what happens if one will be liberated? If Drashta will be liberated, then what will happen? But if he'll reach the state of liberation,
Moksha Prapti, madam.
yes, moksha prapti is there, but for him, Prakriti will be unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, but for all of us, it is real
Huh.
because we are in avidya.
Yes.
We are, yeah. Okay, so what is the outcome of asana? What is the outcome of asana?
Devi, you asking for the benefits?
Yeah, I am asking about the benefit or siddhi. Like what happens when someone practice asana?
Can I say?
Yes.
So asana tato dvanda anabhighata. It says
Yes.
like when we practice the asana for a longer period of time, the opposite forces are ceases. Like we restrict those opposite forces.
Yes, right. Very well.
Madam Ji.
Yes.
So it provides flexibility to hips.
That is materialistic benefits or physical benefits, okay? But what Patanjali said, tato dvandvan anabhighata, right?
Okay, okay. As per Patanjali, no? Okay, 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 okay.
And what is the benefit of pranayama?
ततः श्रूयते प्रकाशावरण.
Yes, right. What does it mean?
Madam, pranasya ayamiti pranayama.
I'm not asking the definition.
Okay, okay.
Feeling of tranquility
It removes the
and
shed of
stillness.
the ignorance.
Yes. And then what happens? Removal of ignorance and
Didi,
yes.
feeling of tranquility and stillness.
Yes, but what Patanjali said, can you explain the sutra? ततः क्षीयते प्रकाश आवरणम.
The covering of chitta is removed. Covering of mind, like what if
Yes.
it is covered with all those gunas, rajas, tamas, those are removed.
Okay. And mind becomes pure, right?
Yes.
And there is one more benefit of pranayama.
Madam, speed of inhalation and exhalation is pranayama.
Yes, that is pranayama.
And
Stopping of
it talks about dharana also, I think.
yeah.
It the mind is now fit for dharana.
Yes. धारणासु च योग्यता मनसः. Okay. I think so many questions I have asked. So we'll start with today's session now. So today we'll learn about Vibhuti path. I'm sharing my screen in few seconds. You can.
Didi, yesterday you haven't shared the PDF actually.
Okay, I'll share that. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so today we'll learn about Vibhuti path, which consists 56 sutras. So the first 5 limbs we have studied yesterday. So now there are 3 more limbs of yoga remaining: concentration, meditation, absorption, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. This is Antaranga Yoga. So what is dharana? Desh bandasya chitasya dharana. How Patanjali explained it as Desh bandash chitasya dharana. Concentration is holding the mind within a center of spiritual consciousness in the body. Our body is a desha, right? So when we are holding our mind within a center of spiritual consciousness in the body, or fixing it on some divine form, either within the body or outside it, so that is known as concentration or dharana. The centers of spiritual consciousness here referred to are the 7 lotuses, that means 7 chakras. In order to concentrate, you must fix your mind upon the inner light within one of these lotuses, or you may concentrate upon the form of your chosen ideal, trying to visualize that form either within a lotus or outside your body altogether. And then dhyana. Tatra pratyek tanata dhyanam. What is dhyan now? It is an unbroken flow of thought toward the object of concentration. So, in other words, he explained, it is prolonged concentration. The process of meditation is often compared to the pouring of oil from one vessel to another in a steady, unbroken stream. So, when concentration stays for a long time without breaking flow or with unbroken flow of thought, so that is known as the dhyan meditation. That means dhyana is a higher state of dharana, right? Or succeeding stage of dharana. Then what is samadhi? Tadev arth matra nirbhasam swarup shunyamev samadhi. When in meditation the true nature of the object shines forth, not distorted by the mind of the perceiver, that is called samadhi. Then the next is sanyama. Triyam ekatra sanyama. When these three, dharana, dhyan and samadhi, are brought to bear upon one subject, they are called sanyama. So sanyam is simply a convenient technical term which describes a threefold process by which the true nature of an object is known. So these three combines like dharana, dhyan and samadhi. These three are together called sanyam. When all these three things are, we are concentrating on one object, we are meditating on the same object and we are absorbing in the same object. So that state is known as sanyam.
Madam,
Yes,
that is samyama or sanyama?
samyam. It is
Samyama.
samyam. Yeah, actually, they write in different ways, but
Okay.
yeah, somewhere it is sanyam, samyam. Okay, different pronunciation, but the meaning is same.
Okay.
Then tajyat prajna lokaha. Through mastery of sanyama comes the light of knowledge. So who will master in sanyama, they get the light of knowledge, pragya. Then trayam antarangam purvebhya. These three, that means dharana, dhyan and samadhi, are more direct aids to experience than the five limbs previously described. Okay, that five limbs were the preliminary or the lower steps for the samadhi, or you can say the main aim, because ashtanga yoga is explained for to reach the main goal. So these three, that means dharana, dhyan, samadhi, are more direct aids to experience. Then he said, even these three are external to the seedless samadhi. We have reached to the stage of samadhi, but now we have to reach the stage of seedless samadhi, that means nirvikalpa samadhi or nirbija samadhi. So for that samadhi, even these three, that means dharana, dhyan, samadhi, are also external or bahirangam. Tadapi bahirangam nirbijasya. For nirbij samadhi, those three also are external ways. The practice of Sanyam lead to the lower samadhi, but the seedless samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, demands a further and even more intense spiritual efforts. So then next is, he explained about Chitta Samskara. In Chitta Samskara, he has spoke about Nirodh Parinam, Samadhi Parinam and Ekagrata Parinam. So Vyuthan Nirodh Samskaryo Abhibhav Pradurбhavo Nirodh Shan Chit Anvayo Nirodh Parinamaha. When the vision of the lower samadhi is suppressed by an act of conscious control, so that there are no longer any thoughts or visions in the mind, there is no impression in the mind, there is no samskara in the mind or in the chitta, that is the achievement of control of the thought waves of the mind. Okay, so in this stage, our mind becomes thought free, or there is no longer any thought or vision in the mind, in the chitta. So tasya prashant vahita samskarat. When this suppression of thought waves becomes continuous, the mind's flow is calm. So when there is continuously suppression of thought waves, that time our mind will become calm. Tasya prashant vahita. Prashant means calmness. The next is samadhi parinam. स्वार्थ स्वार्थात् एकाग्रत्यो क्षयोदयो चित्तस्य समाधि परिणामः. When all mental distractions disappear and the mind becomes one pointed, it enters a state called samadhi. So that is samadhi parinam. So when our mind is free from mental distractions, or all the mental distractions disappears and mind becomes one pointed, so that time it is ready to enter in the state of samadhi. That is samadhi parinam. Then ekagrata parinam. ततः पुनः शान्तोदितौ तुल्य प्रत्ययौ चित्तस्य एकाग्रता परिणामः. The mind becomes one pointed when similar thought waves arise in succession without any gaps between them. So my first thought is also about the same thing and second also about the same thing. So similar thought waves arise in succession without any gaps. There is no other thought. The same thought is repeating continuously. So that time our mind will become one pointed. That is ekagrata. Then he explained parinama traya. So eten bhutendriyeshu dharma lakshana avastha parinama vyakhyata. So in this state, it passes beyond the three kinds of changes which takes place in subtle or gross matter and in the organs: change of form, change of time, and change of condition. So Vivekananda takes as an example a lump of gold. Change of form occurs when the gold is made first into a bracelet. So if I have a gold lump and I am making a bracelet of it, so it has changed its form, okay, from gold lump to bracelet and then into an earring. So anything. Change of time occurs as it gets older. So if I have bought something today, or take the same example, gold lump. So today it is new, but after a few years it will be older. So change of times as it gets older. So time will change, okay? And change of condition occurs when the bright gold becomes dull or wears thin. Okay, so it will lose its brightness. So it is change of condition. Similar changes occur in subtle matter and in the thought waves of the mind. Okay, so if I am getting a new thought today, but if I am having that same thought again and again, so it will become old. It will change its form. It will change its condition. So the thought waves may be of different kinds, may refer to different periods of time and may vary in intensity. But the mind in the state of samadhi is beyond all three kinds of changes. Shantodita Deshya Dharmanupati Dharmi. A compound object has attributes and is subject to change. either past, present, or yet to be manifested. So if there is any compound object, so it has attribute, it has some gunas, and it is subject to change. It will not remain same forever. It will change, either past, present, or yet to be manifested. Then karm anyatvam, parinam anyatve hetuhu. The succession of these changes is the cause of manifold evolution. So these changes are happening continuously, and succession of these changes is the cause of evolution. Then now come to the Vibhutis, powers. In this chapter, Patanjali also explained about the powers. What happens when we concentrate or when we do sanyama on anything. So there are, the first one is related with Samashti Jagat, Vibhutis or powers related with Samashti Jagat. So Parinam Treya Sanyama by making Sanyam on the three kinds of changes, Dharma, Lakshan and Avastha, right? Which one? Dharma, Lakshan, Avastha, right? So when we make Sanyam on these three kind of changes, one obtains knowledge of past and the future. And by making Sanyam on the sound of a word, one's perception of its meaning and one's reaction to it, Shabd, Arth, Pratyaya, Anamita, इत्राध्यासात् संकरस्त तत् प्रविभाग संयमात् सर्वभूत रुत ज्ञानम. So by making sanyam on the sound of a word, one's perception of its meaning, artha, and one's reaction to it, three things which are ordinarily confused, one obtains understanding of all sounds uttered by living beings. Then by making sanyam on previous thought waves, samskar sakshat karanat purva jati jnanam. So by making sanyam on previous thought waves, one obtains knowledge of one's past lives. Okay, so if someone will practice sanyam on previous thought wave or samskar, so it will help that person to gain the knowledge of one's past life. Then pratyayasya parchit jnanam. By making sanyam on the distinguishing marks of another man's body, one obtain knowledge of the nature of his mind. Then kaya roop sanyamat तद्ग्रहे शक्तिस्तंभे चक्षुः प्रकाश संप्रयोगे अंतर्धानम. If one makes sanyam on the form of one's body, obstructing its perceptibility and separating its power of manifestation from the eyes of the beholder, then one's body becomes invisible. Then next power he explained about two karmas. Sopkramam nirupkramam cha karma तत्संयमात् अपरांत ज्ञानम दृष्टेभ्यो वा. By making sanyam on two kinds of karma, that which will soon bear fruit and that which will not bear fruit until later, or by recognizing the portents of death, a yogi may know the exact time of his separation from the body. Then next is Maitri Adishu Balani. By making Sanyam on friendliness, compassion, etc., one develops the powers of these qualities. So what is he is talking about Maitri Adi? We have learnt about this no in Maitri Adi means friendliness, compassion. Anyone remember? Okay. So next Siddhi he explained Baleshu Hasti Baladini. By making Sanyam on any kind of strength, such as that of the elephant, one obtains that strength. See, in this chapter, nothing is there to explain more, only this sutras and its explanation, because you have to learn all these vibhutis because they can ask any one of them. So by making
Didi,
Sanyam on the inner light, anyone is
Didi,
saying
can you
anything?
repeat the
What?
question what you asked? Can you repeat the question what you asked the some time back?
There was one thing we have studied in first chapter, Chit Prasadana, or in that
Okay, okay.
part we have learned no
Okay.
Maitri, Karuna,
Okay.
Mudita,
Mudita
Pekshana.
and Peksha. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so by making Sanyam on all those things, one develops the power of these qualities. So by making Sanyam on the sun, by making Sanyam on the inner light, one obtains knowledge of what is subtle, hidden, or far distant. Inner light means you can say chakras, light of chakras. So if one will do Sanyam on that, so he obtain knowledge of what is subtle, hidden, or far distant. Then Bhuvan Jnanam Surya Sanyamad. By making Sanyam on the sun, one gains knowledge of the cosmic spaces. Bhuvan Jnanam. Then Chandre Tara View Jnanam. By making Sanyam on the moon, one gains knowledge of the arrangement of stars. Tara View Jnanam. And by making Sanyam on pole star, one gains a knowledge of the motions of the other stars. Okay, Dhruve Tadgati Jnanam. By making Sanyam on the pole star, one gains knowledge of the motions of the stars. The next type of vibhutis, which is related to Vyashti Sharira. So, Nabhi Chakre Kaya Vyu Jnanam. By making Sanyam on the navel, one gains knowledge of the constitution of the body, how our body is constituted. So, by making Sanyam on navel, one can get that knowledge. Then Kant Kupe Shupti Asani Vritti. By making Sanyam on the hollow of the throat, one stills hunger and thirst. Kurmanadayam Sterium. By making Sanyam on the tube within the chest, Kurmanadi, one acquires absolute motionlessness. Murd Jyotishi Siddh Darshanam. By making Sanyam on the radiance within the back of the head, one become able to see the celestial beings. Siddh Darshan, celestial beings, one will able to become, one will able to see the celestial beings. by making Sanyam on Murtha Jyoti. That means Murd means back of the head. Then Pratibhadva Sarvam. All these powers of knowledge may also come to one whose mind is spontaneously enlightened through purity. Then Hridaya Chit Samvit. By making Sanyam on the heart, one gains knowledge of the contents of the mind. Hridaya Chit Samvit. Then the power of enjoyment arises from a failure to discriminate between the Atman and the Sattva Guna, which are totally different. So Sattva Purusyor Atyanta Sankrinyo Pratya Vishesho Bhogah Prarthatvat Swarth Sanyamat Purush Jnanam. The Sattva Guna is merely the agent of the Atman, which is independent, existing only for its own sake. By making Sanyam on the independence of the Atman, one gains knowledge of the Atman. Then, hence one gains the knowledge due to spontaneous enlightenment and obtains supernatural powers of hearing, touch, sight, taste and smell. Then बंध कारण चैतल्यात् प्रचार संवेदनात् च चित्तस्य पर शरीरावेश. When the bonds of the mind caused by karma have been loosened, the yogi can enter into the body of another by knowledge of the operation of its nerve currents. Then, by controlling the nerve currents that govern the lungs and the upper parts of the body, the yogi can walk on water and swamps or on thorns and similar objects, and he can die at will. Then Samana Jaya Jwalanam. By controlling the force which governs the prana, he can surround himself within a blaze of light. Then Shrotra Akashayo Sambandha Sanyamat Divyam Shrotram. By making Sanyam on the relation between the ear and the ether, one obtains supernatural powers of hearing. Divya Shrotram. Kaya Kashyo Sambandh Sanyamat Laghu Tul Samapatesh Cha Akash Gamanam. By making Sanyam on the relation between the body and the ether, first was the ear and the ether, now body and the ether, or by acquiring through meditation the lightness of cotton fiber, the yogi can fly through the air. Then Bahir Kalpita Vritir Mahavideha Tatha Prakash Avaran Shayaha. By making Sanyam on the thought waves of the mind when it is separated from the body, the state known as the great discrimination, all coverings can be removed from the light of knowledge. Then third type of Vibhuti, which is related to Grahya Vishya, Sthula Swarup Sukshma Anvayarth Tat Sanyamat Bhutchayaha. By making Sanyam on the gross and subtle forms of the elements, on their essential characteristics and the inherence of the gunas in them, and on the experiences they provide for the individual, one gains mastery of the elements. Then tato anima adi pradurбhavah kaya sampat. Yes.
Didi, you told body and ether, or what is that word? Ear and ether, body and ether.
Yes. Ear and ether and body and ether.
Ether means
Ether
E-I-E-T-H-E-R.
means Akash. Element, one of
Okay,
the element, no?
okay,
One of the 5 elements.
okay.
Yeah. So, hence one gains the power of becoming as tiny as an atom. Here he is explaining about Anima Mahima, that Ashta Siddhi. Okay, Tato Anima Adi. So, hence one gains the power of becoming as tiny as an atom, and all similar powers, also perfection of the body, which is no longer subject to the obstruction of the elements. Then in he's saying not only can yogi become as tiny as an atom, but as huge as a mountain, as heavy as lead, or as light as air. Anima, Mahima, Lagima, Garima, all those siddhis, okay? And the elements cease to obstruct him. He can pass through rock. He can hold his hand in the fire unburned. He can walk through water unwetted. He can stand firm against a hurricane. Then Roop Lavanya Bal Varch Sahanatwani Kaya Sampat. Perfection of the body includes beauty, grace, strength, and the hardness of the thunderbolt. He explained no tato anima adi pradurbhava kaya sampat. So here he is explaining about kaya sampat. Perfection of the body includes beauty, grace, strength, and the hardness of a thunderbolt. Then Grahan Vishya. Related to Grahan Vishyas, Grahan Swarup Asmita Anvyarth Twa Sanyamadi Indriya Jaya. By making Sanyam on the transformation that the sense organs undergo when they contact objects, on the power of illumination of the sense organs, on the ego sense, on the gunas which constitute the organs, and on the experiences they provide for the individual, one gains mastery of the organs. Indriya Jaya. And ततो मनोजवित्वं विकरण भावः प्रधान जयश्च. Hence the body gains the power of movements as rapid as that of the mind, the power of using the sense organs outside the confines of the body, and the mastery of prakriti. Then the last one, Vibhuti, is related with Grihitra Vishya. सत्वपुरुष अन्यथा ख्यातेर् मात्रस्य सर्वभाव अधिष्ठातृत्वं सर्वज्ञातृत्व च. By making Sanyam on the discrimination between the Sattva Guna and the Atman, one gains omnipotence and omniscience. Then Shan Tat Kramyo Sanyamadi Vivek Jam Jnanam. By making Sanyam on single movements and on their sequence in time, one gains discriminative knowledge, Vivek Jnanam. So, now what is the science of Vivek Jnana? Once one gets a Vivek Jnana or discriminative knowledge, so what is the science? Jati, Lakshan, Desh, Deshair, अन्यथा अनवच्छेदात् तुल्ययोस्तः प्रतिपत्तिः. Thus one is able to distinguish between two exactly similar objects which cannot be distinguished by their species, characteristics, characteristic marks or positions in space. Suppose you took two exactly similar newly minted coins, showed first one, then the other, then changed them behind your back and show them again. The yogi who had made this sanyam would, according to Patanjali, be able to tell you correctly which one you had showed him first. So, if you will see the exactly same things, so you can still make the difference between them if you will have that Viveka Jnana, right? So, you will be that aware. The spiritual value of this power of discrimination lies, of course, in one's ability to distinguish always between the Atman and the non-Atman, the outward appearance, however deceptive the later may be. So, if in the spiritual sense, it is the discrimination between Atman and non-Atman, which is very similar, which seems to be similar, but it is not similar, right? It is, we think we are real, but we are not real. We are, this body is temporary, but it seems to be real. So, who will distinguish all those things, Atman and non-Atman? This is the sign of Viveka Jnana or Viveka Khyati, discriminative knowledge. So, Tarakam Sarva Vishayam Sarvatha Vishayam Karmam Cheti Vivekajam Jnanam. This discriminative knowledge delivers a man from the bondage of ignorance, from the bondage of avidya. It comprehends all objects simultaneously at every moment of their existence and in all their modifications. Sattva Purushayo Shuddhi Samya Kevalyam. The last sutra. Perfection is attained when the mind becomes as pure as the Atman itself. When all the thought waves in the mind have been stilled, the mind holds nothing but pure, undifferentiated consciousness. In this state, it is one with the Atman. Sri Ramakrishna used to say the pure mind and the Atman are the same. This is all about the Vibhuti path, the third chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And now if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask. Any questions? No questions?
Okay.
So I request you all to go through all those siddhis or vibhutis, because sometimes they ask questions related to vibhutis, that from which or by making sayam on what object or what thing you can get this siddhi or something. So if you will read it properly, and you have to learn this and you have to read this again and again, then only you can learn. So please read properly, study properly. And if you will have any doubts, you can personally also ask after the class also.
Didi,
Yes.
these supernatural powers, are they really possible?
Yeah.
I mean, after
See,
practice, are they really possible?
you are asking about all the supernatural powers or siddhis, right? So
Yeah, yes.
I have never experienced, but they have experienced it. That's why they have written it, right? This is what we call it's apt vachan, or it is the knowledge which we can say agam. We have learned about this, no?
Okay.
Sources of right knowledge, pratyaksh, anuman, and agam. So we cannot deny, because this
Okay.
is what we call apt vachan. Even if you have ever realized, if you are thinking something and that thing become true, right? So, sometime it happens,
Yes,
no, if I'm thinking about something and next moment that thing will happen, or next moment that person will be in front of me. Sometimes it
yes,
happens.
yes.
So what is this? This is also um, we are releasing a thought which is becoming true. So that is also how, with how much strong intensity we are releasing our thought, or we are concentrating on that thought, so it is becoming true. So it is possible, we cannot deny this fact.
Okay.
It is difficult, but it is not impossible.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, anyone? So this chapter is mostly about the vibhutis, but we have also learnt about dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, and sanyam. Altogether, these three called sanyam. And now I already have taken so much time. So we'll most probably meet next week. And please study properly. I'll ask questions from this class next class. Or if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, good night. Bye bye.
Good night, Didi.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you, Didi. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you,